Hi, I'm Marc Stevens, author of Government Indicted and Adventures in Legal Land. The website is marcstevens.net, where we're bringing about a voluntary society, one visitor at a time, and host a radio show called the No State Project. We're live from the fortified compound in Mesa, Arizona, on the Liberty Radio Network. That is LRN.FM, and that's, of course, 4 to 7 Eastern Standard Time, 1 to 4 if you are on the West Coast. And what we like to do here in our working towards getting to a voluntary society is informing people, just putting the evidence out there and just relentlessly attacking the concept that there is a government and there are states and there are citizens. There is no government, they're just people forcing us to give them money. And we bring these challenges into court and help people stand up to these parasites. And so we're going to have another edition here on the success stories part of marcstevens.net. And I know the critics will marginalize this. One of the lies that they like to tell, of course, of people like Dan Evans, who can't stop lying about me, is that the only time, well, one, he lied. Of course, we covered this in another video, that there have never been any reported cases of me personally. They're all here on the, they're on the website. Another thing, too, is I've never helped anybody get a ticket thrown out where it wasn't just because the cop didn't show up. Now, this is complete horse crap because we have record here of felony possession being thrown out. And just the call of shame before this one, the success story before this one, is that Armando defeated, again, the Michael Scott law firm. This has nothing to do with traffic. Nothing. This was a credit card situation. And, of course, Armando stood up to them. This was the second time it was thrown out. The first time they withdrew, they filed against him. And we've got the evidence right here. Of course, that's what we do here we look at the evidence. What does the evidence tell us? And so we've got the evidence here. Armando had sent this to me. This is, of course, evidence that the Michael Scott law firm in a credit card situation was defeated. Again, this is not traffic, by the way, so I don't know what the critics, what they would say to something like this, but they'd have to dismiss it because the last thing that they want to admit is that I've been able to help somebody because, one, it destroys their view of the world. Also, it shows them for the dishonest people that they are. It's just not true. So we have another example where I've helped somebody. I want to thank Joshua for standing up to these parasites. This is from the City Court of Mount Vernon in Mount Vernon, New York. And yes, this is traffic. I know the critic, well, man, that's traffic, not a real court. Well, I'm sure that people like William Edwards, the city judge here, and Helen Blackwood, who we'll look at in just a moment, I think they would disagree. With the critics. But that's what the critics have to do. They have to marginalize it, and they have to say things like, what's one of the logical fallacies we'll look at here? They'll say that just because it's a parking ticket or a traffic ticket, that real big issues, real solid issues and arguments are not raised. Well, that's complete horse crap, and I'll go through that in just a few moments. What I want to do is congratulate Joshua and also thank him for sending me this documentary proof. This was done today. We're recording this video and posting it on September 23rd, 2014. To whom it may concern, please be advised that the above-referenced ticket issued to Joshua was dismissed by Judge Helen Blackwood today, September 23rd, 2014. If you have any questions, contact me. This was done by Lawrence Darden Jr., so congratulations for standing up to this parasite. I think he's great, too. It's the fact he stood up for himself, and he's a younger guy. He's 22 years old, so imagine he gets 5-6 years experience doing this, he'll be a real force to reckon with, which is something the critics and the government types don't want. They want you to just give in or pay a lawyer to make a deal. So either way, you're sending thousands of dollars into the legal system. But he didn't do that. He did it on his own, so big congratulations. What I want to go through is how critics will try to marginalize this. And again, he filed a motion to dismiss, which the big issue is attacking the argument that just because you're physically in New York, the laws in New York apply to you. Just an argument. Just an argument. It's got no factual support whatsoever. But it's not dismissed because the police officer did not choose to show up that day. So what they will do to try to marginalize this evidence, see, when you have evidence like this, you have to marginalize. Well, it's not a real court. What the hell's wrong with you? It's just traffic court. Don't mean nothing. Well, we've addressed that nonsense already. The other thing is they will say things like, traffic ticket. Yeah, there are a lot of serious issues raised there, a lot of big issues. Well, let's keep something in mind here. The venue is not important. It is the attack that the prosecution uses that is important. And what the prosecution will do is attack you with the same base or foundational argument. And that is what is important, and it is that exact argument critics do not want to address. They want to just say it's a given. No, not a given. There are no sacred cows. Besides, if there were, they make the best hamburgers there. The same foundational argument that the prosecution uses in a traffic ticket is exactly the same as they use in felony possession, tax evasion, and things like that, or the crime of selling milk with raw milk. So, what is that argument? Any regular listener to the show will know what the basic argument that prosecutors use, whether you're in the U.S., Canada, Australia, New Zealand, it doesn't matter, is that if you're physically in Canada, or in this case, if you're physically in New York, then the Constitution and laws apply to you. This is an argument, okay? I have to stress that a number of times because critics want to blow that off. They want you to ignore that. They want you to think that this argument is somehow special. It's not subject to attack. That's ridiculous. The prosecution's and foundation of the foundation of their attack is always the same. You're physically in New York. You're within our territorial jurisdiction because the Constitution and laws apply to everybody physically in New York. You're within the court's territorial jurisdiction. Well, that's just an argument. And it's the same, again, whether you're in a city court or you're in the Supreme Court in the case of New York, where you're in a felony possession charge. So, again, the venue is completely irrelevant to the foundation of a prosecutor's attack. So don't let the critics fool you. It's the same damn thing. Ask them, they'll tell you. You're within the territorial jurisdiction of the court. How is that possible? Well, because if anyone physically in New York, the laws are applicable. Now, that there's not a shred of evidence. There is absolutely no proof that that argument is true. Now, some will turn around like Jerry Cobb, and some of these quant loose guys, well, the sound of the handcuffs slapping on your wrist, there's your evidence, the laws apply. No, that's not support for the argument. That's an appeal to the stick or an appeal to consequences. That's not proof the Constitution and laws apply to you. So I want, and keep that in mind if someone wants to bring that out. That real substantive issues are not raised in traffic. Yeah, if you're a lawyer, maybe not, but if you're smart and you don't believe in giving the prosecutor a free pass, then they are. People who are smart will not give the prosecutor a free pass. People who are just trying to collect a $15,000 retainer and drag it on as long as possible, yeah, to them, they're not going to raise the issue like that. I don't suggest that you give the prosecutor a free pass. I don't suggest you get a lawyer. But hey, people are free to do that. And if you do get a lawyer, ask him, are you going to give the prosecutor a free pass on any of the arguments he's using against me? That would be really interesting question. That's what I would recommend to everybody. If you are going to get a lawyer, before you give him a $5, $10, $15, or $50,000 retainer, ask him, do you plan on giving this prosecutor a free pass on any of the arguments he is planning to use against me or has been using against me? Yeah, make him earn that retainer. I think you'd be surprised at the answer. And because most of the time they'll generally say, well, no, of course not. Oh, so you're going to challenge the argument that the laws apply to me? I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. Then to keep the money in your pocket and do it yourself. You have a much better chance of doing that. Like anything here we present on the No State Project, videos or on the show or here on the markstevens.net, if you disagree, if you think that there's evidence proving the Constitution and laws apply to someone like Joshua, okay, just because you're physically in New York, give me a call on the No State Project. We're live every Saturday from 4 to 7 Eastern Standard Time and present your facts, present your rationale, present your logic. I'd love to hear it. Again, a big congratulations to Joshua for standing up to the man, not getting an attorney, and getting this garbage thrown out. And I'm Marc Stevens, and the website is markstevens.net.